So I started the job, and then the next like 3 days after he came, I was like, he was going to have sex with me.
Wow.
Well, yeah, like if I have to continue working for the company, I need to comply to whatever advances
yeah.
So I was like, I came back home and I told myself I will not resort to this just because I'm looking for a job. If I have to start this now, meaning I'm going to always
Continue,
have to do it
and it's not
in order to keep the job, which is not healthy. So
I'll pick up the chunks from the, the beatings and take my bath. I couldn't afford a thing. There was a day I got stalked in Dubai. I did not have transport fare.
Oh my God.
I slept in Union.
You slept in Union.
So without wasting time, I opened my boxes because I told you I came just with few pieces of dresses, and I start selling.
Right?
Yes.
So I actually sent 3 million CFA francs. Yes. And they made me a 1-month visa.
I applied a lot. If you know what 8 months look like.
I've been for 17 years, my dear, without a job. Yes, right.
So-
As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others the permission.
if I have to continue working for the company, I need to comply to whatever advances So I was like, I came back home and I told myself I will not resort to this just because I'm looking for a job. If I have to start this now, meaning I'm going to always
Continue,
have to do it
and it's not
in order to keep the job, which is not healthy. So it was so traumatizing because I was really hoping, I was like finally I had something doing. So when he said that, I came back home and he was like texting and all, have you decided you don't necessarily have to do it like the normal way? You can do the BG, is it called BG, blowjob or whatever? I was like, really? So I came home, I was so stressed because the highest thing I could do at that time was to cry and talk to God. I was so stressed. So I told God, I'm not going to go back to that office. If he considers me his child like I am, he has to give me a better job. So the next day, I sent an email to him and saying, I'm sorry, I'm not going to continue with your company. Reasons best known to me, because I not necessarily have to put that in writing, Reasons best known to me, and also...
But next time, put it in writing. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah, next time put it in writing so they would know that that's what he does. Because with that, later on, even if you have to complain, it's not written.
Yeah, that's true. But there was text messages and all.
Okay.
And the funniest thing was that the wife was also working in the same company. You get. So at one point I was like threatening to tell his wife because I was really that pissed. And that's when I also got to realize that a lot of black ladies are being seen as prostitutes in Dubai, which is really downgrading. It's very bad.
Definitely.
So I told him it's not what I'm called to do. I'm not going to do it. So fast forward to that, I was also job hunting and accommodation and all. So I had to leave where I was staying with one of my other friends. We went together to look for another bed space. When we got to the building, there were a lot of people. So my friend and she was working, I was not working. So, but I could pay my bills at one point. So she said, okay, we can take a bed and share together. So we went to this bed space at Bujuman. We were staying there together. And it was so full of bed bugs. My God, like the white bed sheets, it's all stained with blood and all. So it was so disturbing because it has one smell. They have one smell. Yeah, so once they pass, there's bed bugs here and it's so irritating. You might even want to throw up. So it was like that until one day, I think I took some period of time to pray to God, and that was when I Thanks be to God, I met Brother Ike.
Okay.
He was so encouraging. I went to him and I told him I'm searching for a job. So he asked, how long have you been without a job? I told him, because I had gone for 2 visa change, and it was a lot of money then, you know. So I was preparing for another visa change.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went to him. I will forever see him as a brother. Yeah. I went to him and I told him, this is what I'm experiencing. It's so difficult because I had to still collect money from home from my mom. My mom was sending me allowances and all to take care of myself. So he told me, don't worry, God is going to answer you mightily. We prayed together, you get. So after that, after praying for a period of time with Brother Ike, I think he was interceding for me. It wasn't like a everyday prayer. I told him and he said he was going to intercede for me. So after that, thankfully, I got a job for Europe car. That was where I started my car.
Yeah.
So I started working for Europe car. How I got the job was, okay, after we left church one day, or coming back from church, inside the taxi, I just got a call because one of the brother was seated by us. And so I told him I studied project management back home and all that. So the next day I was called for the interview. I went to a course and thankfully I was not being interviewed like the others. I believe it was all God's doing. I was just called to the office and I was asked, are you Kelly? And I was like, yes, I'm Kelly. Did you bring your passport with you? I said, no, I didn't bring my passport with me. So the HR had to assign one of the drivers to take me home so I could get my passport and bring me back to the office, that I don't need to go through all the formalities. I should give my passport so they can start processing my visa. So I saw it like a dream come true, you know. And the starting salary was 3,500.
Okay.
And I was like, God, you've done it in a very great way. And also I believe that that's how God changed my story from, I don't know if I've actually explained typically what I've been through here, but all that, I would just say it was me being determined. Like I could be strong enough to say, this is not what I want, this is what I want. So when I got the offer, I started, and after my first salary, and after some period of time, like 3 months, you see that you start having incentives, and my salary was like getting to like 6,000 to 7,000 sometimes. I'll have to collect a month. So that was how it went from 0 to hero, and the story went on and on.
Okay, is that the only company you've worked for?
No. So I had a 2 years visa here, but my passport was also expiring after the 2 years.
Okay.
So the embassy here, for Cameroon embassy, it takes a lot of time for their new passport to be out. So I applied for a new passport after the end of my contract, and it took quite long. So during that time, I was like telling God, I don't want to stay home for that long again without having something to do. So I prayed about it, and one day I just told myself, okay, I'm going to the embassy to just go get my passport. I don't need to know if it's ready or no, because I did not get an email or message to say, okay, come collect your passport because it's ready. No. So that was when I had gotten a new offer from the company I'm working in right now. So I went there and hopefully I got my passport, thankfully, and I went to the new company, I submitted my passport and all, and the salary was still so amazing. Thank God. So that's how it has been. And I had to leave from accommodation like bed space and all to having my own flat and living comfortably the way I always want, because sharing, I don't know how to share rooms, especially the toilet, that much with people. So that's it. So
that's life has been a little bit nice. Okay.
I would say life has been a little bit nice because I had to put God first in what I was doing.
Okay.
Yes. Because I had to give him that, like, take the wheel, you get, like, do it your way, but I don't want it to exceed this period of time.
Okay.
What I always do when I pray is, okay, I'm giving God, like, I'm praying to him, I'm thanking him for everything he's doing, but then I'm giving him a time limit. I don't want to achieve this. So I had to put God first in everything I was doing. But during the time when I was not working, there were times where I had no penny with me, and I'll have to use the metro. What I do is go stand by the metro to beg for money. Yeah, I had to do that. It was that bad. Sometimes I would not have to go to my parents and say, no, I need money for this and all that. Once I've paid for my accommodation, I have nothing else to do in my pocket, and I have to go maybe for an interview and all that. I'll go to the metro and actually beg for money.
Explain one of those days. For how long did you have to go to the metro to beg for money to fill your bus card?
For so countless times.
So explain one scenario. Do everyone you beg from give you?
No.
So explain the scenario.
It is so embarrassing. Like, you know, some people, especially when you see your fellow black, you walk up to them and it's like, please, I really need money to top my bus card, and they are so snobbish, like, go get a job. What do you think people here do? Blah, blah, blah. It's so embarrassing. Sometimes I'll literally have to cry and all, but it will not stop me. Yeah. And also there was a scenario where I had to come back from my visa change. I had no money for transport. I had to walk from Terminal 1 airport right up to Bojuman the whole night.
Wait. You had to work.
Yeah,
you came back
foot.
from visa change and you had to work on foot.
Yes.
From Terminal 1.
From Terminal 1.
That's towards Center Point Metro.
Yes.
To Bojuman.
Yes.
Wow.
From like, I think
that's a long way.
It's a long way. So I took like 5 hours on the way, because you know how the roads here are. It will lead you to another, and you have to get yourself back to the right track. And also,
how did you tell me how? No, I really need to understand. How did you even know the road that leads to Bridge? But it's not like okay, from Terminal 1 to Abu Hill. That's just straight. Okay.
Yeah,
Terminal 1 to Bojuman.
Yeah. You have to. What I did was I followed the metro line.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, when you leave from Terminal 1, you come directly. You see this, I think, stadium. No, not stadium.
No,
that's
stadium.
Terminal 2. Yeah,
Terminal 1, Jijiko, Dera City Center.
No. It was Terminal 2.
Okay.
Yes, from Terminal 2, you will get to stadium, and from there you have to follow the same. Yeah. So that was what I used. Like from 11 a.m. that I got back from my visa change, right up to 5:30 in the morning. I got home at 6.
You're still trekking?
I was still trekking. And during my time of walking that night, I was like, it was a process. I was like talking to God.
Wow.
Why? Why? Because I did not want to resort to doing what I'm not supposed to do to get money. It's never in my nature. So I was like, I'm going to struggle till I make it. Because you know, when you come into the UAE, you see a lot of girls that have resorted to prostitution because one way or the other they could not find jobs and all. I don't think that should be a factor for you to go to the street to do things you're not supposed to do. So while I was walking that night, I was like, if you say I'm your daughter, you just have to do it. And I was not in a presence of prayer or lamentation. I was thanking him even in the struggle, I was thanking God. I was like, I thank you because you've made it happen this way for a purpose. You made me go through this for a reason. And I'm not going to give up because it's hard. I'm still going to hold on to you because I know it's only you that can make it. So I would say during those days, I would have thought of other options to get money because it was so hard, especially when I have to go back at the metro. I would literally have to fall down, break down.
It's hard.
Yeah. And sorry.
No, don't. See, I've been down that road. Oh. Honestly, I've been down that road, but honestly, I've never had to beg in the metro. Honestly, but I've been, because I'm someone, it's not about pride, but sometimes I'll just say, I'll just sit here. Let me see what will happen. Okay, because there were days where there was a time when I had to go 6 days without food. 6 days without food. I had only tea leaves for 6 days, and then you can imagine that I was suffering from iron deficiency anemia at that time. My blood was 5, so you can imagine someone
Not eating.
Someone with chronic iron deficiency anemia not having food for
that long period of time. Yeah.
So I was just like, God, I'm here. Anything you want to do, just do it. Okay, because I came to see the reason why some people will sell themselves, but my thought about life is, after going to sell yourself because you need food,
Then what?
then what?
Yeah.
That's if I want to do something now, then I'm asking, after this, then what? If you have to give me something, you want to, like the guy who was telling you, oh, you have to sleep with him before he gives you the job. After, if I sleep with you after the job, then what? That's it. Because that then what always comes, plays in my head. That's what makes me, I'm just like, no. So I've been 6 days without food. I've had to go even without a roof over my head. Okay, like I had to beg. Thank God I have this person that is like a father figure in my life. Actually, he's not, how would I put it, he's not even an African, but he's from Wales. That man stood like a father figure in my life in the UAE, all through the time when I was going through the dark ages. Like, even if he's not here, he's maybe for vacation, he sends it the powers. That's how much that man stood in my life. And I always want to put it out there to girls that the person that is going to help you will not ask anything from you.
Yeah, he will not ask.
He will not ask. All of these people that will come, oh, I want to date you, before they help you, they don't love you that much. Because if you really love a lady, help the lady without asking anything from the lady.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, so the truth is that man helped me and did not ask of anything. Because he told me one thing about him. He said, I know the feeling I've been here 17 months without a job. There were sessions of me being jobless in the UAE. I had several sessions of being jobless. And I'm not telling you jobless of 2 months, long months, 10 months, 17 months. Honestly, I can work for 6 months and be jobless for 10. I can work for 9 months and be jobless for 17. That's how it was with me. If you like, you can ask Ikichuku. He will tell you. That's how it was with me. So, but there was never a time when I thought about selling myself because I needed just to have a job, or I needed just to have food on my table. No. God sent someone to just be there for me, okay? So, I don't know what prompts people to do what they do, but I just believe everyone has their capacity to handle pain. Sometimes the ladies go out because they cannot really handle pain.
That's true.
I could stay 6 days without food, but a girl will stay just 1 day and decide to do what she has to do to have food in her stomach. So it just depends on you, okay?
Okay, yeah. I will literally have to break down sometimes. I'll cry, because I was staying with my friends, and each time they know I've really broken down. Like, it's when I go into the washroom and I literally take everyone's clothes with me. I'm crying, I'm washing clothes, like I'm just like taking out the energy on it, you get. So that's how bad it was. But as time went on, I was like, okay, I have to brace up. Each time I cry, I'll come out strong. That's how I saw it. I see myself stronger and stronger, and it made me have a very deep relationship with God. Because to me, having a relationship with God is not about going to church. It's that your quiet time where you sit to talk to Him as a father and a daughter should. So I was like, I saw Him in all my struggles. Like, yeah, that's how it was.
All right, so that was a tough one. She had days that she was really down, but God came through for her. She's a strong believer, so definitely you'll be hearing God in her journey. She keeps God first. Okay, so she's been down the lowest, because if you heard from our discussion, she had to beg money to top up her bus card, and I also shared a little bit of myself where I had to go 6 days without food. But trust me, there are times when those times are not there to break you. Sometimes they are there to make you stronger, because trust me, with everything I went through, that I just give a snip, it made me to be what I am today. I'm so fierce, honestly. I am so fierce, and there is a conviction in me for success. Okay, so that's what struggle gives you, right? Okay, so let's get to the next question. In total, you had just 2 employments in the UAE.
Yes.
That's excellent. And then the housing condition, right now she stays in her own apartment, okay?
Yeah.
From not having money to pay for bed space, but today she has her own apartment. That's a very great step, I will tell you for
I'm
the fact.
looking forward to having a villa soon.
Okay, that's great. That's a great one. All right, so I want you've been in the UAE for quite some time. Can you tell me about the living standards in the UAE? Do you think it's expensive or not?
I would say it all depends on your budget, because I believe that, like they'll say in code, cut your code according to your size. You should be able to manage your resources. If you are having a salary of 1,000, you should know that, okay, maybe you're living in a accommodation, or you have maybe extra accommodation money for yourself from the company, and you should not go above your standards. Don't always try to compare with others, because you don't know their story. You don't know why they are living in the accommodations which they have now. You just have to be like, okay, this is not, I have not gotten to that position yet. But you just have to be like, okay, there are better options, better ways of living. But I don't know, I really don't recommend bed space. But if you have to resort to that, you should do it in the right way. Like,
all right. So do you think, is it expensive to live?
Okay, I'll say it's expensive in Dubai.
Okay.
Reasons being based on the accommodation issues. I find it expensive to a certain extent. So that's why I'll say cut your code according to your size, because you don't need to get somewhere that is much more expensive than your budget. And when it comes to feeding, and I think that's way more cheaper here. It's very cheap. You can get affordable everywhere. So the only thing I find so expensive, it's the housing.
Okay. All right, so let's get to the next question. Do you think the passport has a role to play in the type of job and salary you get as an African in the UAE, or in the type of job and salary you get?
I'll say yes, it has a role to play, because us from the West Africa, we don't have the opportunities like others. I'll say someone coming from South Africa has more opportunities to a certain extent than us coming from, let's say, from Nigeria, Cameroon. You cannot really vouch on your passport that it's going to give you, because of your passport, you're going to get this much of a salary,
Okay. So have you ever come in contact where you were being, I don't want to use the word discriminated, where you thought that because of your passport, that's why you got a certain salary?
I would say no, because the companies I've worked with, they don't really tolerate discrimination by any chance. So I don't think passport has been like something I have to think about. Yeah, they will give you the salary based on what everyone is having for that same job role. Yeah, so that's it.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect. Because this passport thing, it keeps coming, and I would always beg to disagree that depending on where you work, because some companies are really very fair. They pay you as per your skills that you have to offer. They pay you as how much you sell yourself and how much you think in your head you're worth. So I always tell Africans, like, don't take the first.
Don't limit yourself.
Yeah, don't limit yourself, one, and don't always take the first offer.
Yeah, the first offer is never
the lowest offer. Yeah. Okay, so if they tell you this is how much we're going to pay you, please
tell them how much you're expecting from them.
Tell them how much you want. Okay, because we Africans, we make a lot of mistakes when it comes to the whole salary thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the next one. Choose one and say why. The metro or the bus?
I would say the metro cause is faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the company or the personal sponsorship visa?
To a certain, I have not experienced being on a personal sponsorship visa, but I like that a lot.
Okay.
And definitely look forward to that. I'll say that is the best.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, so Dera or Satwa?
No.
Why?
First of all, there is so crowded. I really don't like crowded environment. And Satwa, I'm not really conversant with the area, so I won't say that much.
The winter or the summer in the UAE?
Winter for sure.
Oh, okay. Normal or the flying taxis?
I'll say normal, because flying will be much more expensive, though it has not really come to actualization yet. It's something we are still foreseeing in the future, but it's going to be way more expensive. I had one trip, will be like 800, 500. That's something you can say, you have some, maybe go for shopping or something small, yeah.
Okay, so the next question, what are the challenges you face as an African working in the UAE?
Sexual harassment.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say that's been a challenge, because working with some people, they will think, yeah, Africans, you guys have this, have that, and you guys are giving it freely. You have people, so they will tend to try to throw those advances at you, because I've experienced that, where my colleague will be like, can I come over to your place? I'm like, why? What for? Why will you come to my place? Oh, you live alone, so I can just come spend some time. I say, no, I don't allow men into my room and all. So sometimes you just have to play with them, not to make it look very harsh, but you just have to know how to maneuver the discussion and get it to something else. Yeah.
Talking about sexual harassment, I'm not betting to disagree anything.